Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. Order today at PureSoapFlakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
Tina Helmuth is writing an ongoing series of fact-fiction books that boldly takes on today's most heinous crimes, the abduction, sexual trafficking, and cannibalization of our children. Suffer the Little Children, The Wrath of the Father, and Unbreakable. Deeply researched and mixed with the supernatural, good versus evil makes these thrillers hard to put down, shining a light on the root cause of these crimes and introducing a spiritual solution. Justice will be served. Available at lulu.com in paperback or ebook.
Is your credit in bad shape? Do you need a new car? Ready to buy a new house? You want to rent an apartment? Are you going to apply for a job? Any one of these activities, they're going to ask for a credit report and then check out your credit score. Let Dynamic Solutions 2 erase your negative credit remarks. They offer a life-changing, dynamic financial solution. The finest in fast, professional, affordable credit repair. They have affordable monthly prices. They accept Visa, MasterCard, PayPal options available. You go to www.dynamicsolutions2, that's the number 2.com, or call 424-888-2820. Now, if you enter promo code ED or you mention Ed Opperman, you get a 10% discount. How's that? You get a free consultation, all negative items removed, get back in positive credit position. Dynamic Solutions 2, life-changing dynamic financial solutions.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
And go. All right, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. You can find me at Opperman Investigations and Digital Forensic Consulting. You can locate me through my website, emailrevealer.com, or oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com. If you like today's show, check out our members section at oppermanreport.com. We have all kind of exclusive content there. But give me a little time here, because we're switching over the paywall system, and we're having some kind of problems with the login password. So give us a little time on that. oppermanreport.com, the members section. If you like today's show as well, you want to check out our free archives, you can go to Spreaker.com. We have free archives down there that you can check out. Our guest today is Michael Molitch-Hou, and he's the website proprietor of the realityinstitute.net. It's like a news website. And he sent me this article he wrote. What if I told you that a CIA-linked World Wildlife Fund was used as a front for covert intelligence operations to defend South African apartheid and kill members of Nelson Mandela's ANC? Now, that's a pretty damn good story, I'd say. And it's something that we want to explore here at the Opperman Report. Michael Molitch-Hou, are you there?
Yeah, hi.
Thank you so much.
How's it going?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much. I got to tell the audience, Michael's a great guy. I screwed up the date and the time. He's been very patient with me, man. Very cool guy. So, Michael, I want to thank you for being patient with me there and helping me out today. Tell us, who is Michael Molitch-Hou?
So I am a freelance writer. I'm also a lead writer for a website called engineering.com. But I am looking to sort of get out of that and find something a little more stable. But yeah, freelance writer. I've been covering tech news, mostly 3D printing for the past 7 years, but I have more passionate interest in, deep politics type stuff like this.
Yeah, I got you. So now what is going on with this story? CIA linked the World Wildlife Fund. Let's start with this. What is the World Wildlife Fund?
So the World Wildlife Fund for Nature is, I think, the world's biggest environmental nonprofit. Although you could put quotes around nonprofit, it's dedicated to preserving animals. The logo is a panda, so it's probably the most famous conservancy organization in the world.
Okay, and how'd you stumble on this story?
So BuzzFeed broke a story, I think earlier this year, maybe in February or so, about some anti-poaching squads that they have they have them in a lot of different countries, but they found 6 different countries where these anti-poaching squads were abusing innocent people, mostly, indigenous people and local villagers in places like Nepal and India and Cameroon and a couple other places. And so these squads were like raping and torturing and murdering people under the auspices that they were trying to fight poaching practices in the region. And so when I read it, I was just sort of blown away because I used to love the WWF as a kid, thinking it was helping all these animals. And I was sort of like they described these groups as death squads or paramilitary squads. And so that immediately sort of called to mind U.S. death squads and Operation Condor, things like that. So I just started Googling WWF and immediately came across some prior incidents that were similar to what's happening now that happened in the late 80s. And I was like, oh, I should jump on this and write something because this is going to break and everyone's going to find out that this has been going on for, maybe 30 or 40 years that the WWF has been doing this sort of stuff, but nobody reported on it. Nobody has talked about the stuff that the WWF has been doing in the 80s. And so I wrote this. I ended up spending months writing this article.
Well, Michael, it makes sense, okay? You need to hire an answer. What do you put an ad in the paper? You need an anti-poaching squad. You need to hire some mercenaries, some thugs. You need to hire some dangerous guys to go out. You need to hire some guys, right, with armed. Know what they're doing. Tactical guys know what they're doing. You need to hire to go out in the wilderness, in the jungle, out there, in the desert and stuff, and fight these poachers. The poachers are armed. You need armed guards. Now, is this a situation where, bad apples, You got a couple of bad apples. They get into this thing here. They're tough guys. They're out there. They probably got warrants. That's why they're out there in the jungle. Is that what it is? Bad apples, or you find something more organized here that they're looking for guys like this?
That's what I was sort of wondering because I don't want to make any assumptions or anything. But so in the current moment, it very well could be just sort of anti-poaching gone awry. Right. It's happened so many times recently that it's definitely bigger than a few bad apples. It seems to be a systemic problem within the WWF and probably nature conservation organizations as a whole. But it seems to be, at the very least, it's anti-poaching gone awry. But when you start looking further, at least into the WWF's history, it suggests that there's other motives going on beyond just overarmed anti-poaching squads.
Is there like a funnel? I used to work with my partner, my business partner back in New York was NYPD Harbor Aviation. and Blackwater. Back in those days, Eric Prince ran a company called Blackwater. They changed names several times. It still runs a mercenary organization. But he would want to recruit ex-cops, So all these type of guys, these mercenary type guys, were being funneled through that one organization and being channeled to the Middle East. Is it the same way with these poaching organizations? Is there an overall group that's hiring these guys and recruiting these guys?
Well, so it's happening in like a bunch of different countries across Asia and Africa. And so I'm not aware of any specific group that, funnels these guys to work at, the different parks that the WWF is involved in. But at least in the 80s, and I think, after that, there's been a lot of – and, yeah, actually, I think even – now there's a lot of cases in which people who were poachers become guards of the parks, and people who served in military in those regions become guards at the parks, and some military people also become poachers. And then to add to all of that is there's a lot of poaching done by people working at the parks, and at least implications that WWF workers a couple times have been involved in poaching themselves. So I guess there's no direct funnel, but you see people from either side of the poaching war or from military operations working as rangers for these parks.
And you would think these guys would be harmless, and these, you'd think, but no. Now, what are some of the atrocities that they're pulling?
So now the most recent stuff that BuzzFeed reported on, and a group called Survivor International sort of brought to the surface a few years ago, was that what they typically do or at least what they've done in a few places is they kick all of the indigenous people off a certain area of land and then make that land a national park and protected. And then if the indigenous people come onto the land or end up poaching for either their own economic survival or for cultural reasons, then these eco guards will, either just beat them up, or they might torture them to supposedly get information out of them for poaching networks and illegal trade routes and things like that. And these are things that the WWF has sort of told them they want to do, is create informant networks and create informants within the parks. And to create these informants, there's often some torture involved. And then in some locations, there, I think the Central African Republic, there's these eco guards who are found guilty of raping pregnant women, killing children in front of their parents, real Phoenix program type scary stuff.
Now, is the criminal industry of poaching, is it such a big deal that logically we would need to hire mercenaries and armies to take them down? Is this something that's necessary?
That's the thing that I was sort of wondering, because what the media would sort of have you believe is that it is such a huge problem. I didn't actually look into the numbers to see how big of a deal it was. I should have, or I might have actually, and then it's been a couple months of research, so I might have lost that bit. But what I started to feel I sort of got the feeling that that this poaching is sort of a cover or a narrative that they want to project in order to militarize parks, because in recent time, let me see when it's 2009 or so, or 2012. There was this meeting between WWF and some other groups, and I found this report that's just notes from the workshop. It's a wildlife crime workshop, and what they say in it is sort of that it sounds like they're setting up a pretext for military intervention or for partnering with various militaries, because they say there's these notes from this report where people are coming up with suggestions for how to bring the military into wildlife crime fighting. And so they say things like, we should link revenues from the illegal wildlife trade to terrorist groups.